Okay, so this one here. Hmm. The inverted course of existence of living beings. Let me enlarge it a little bit. Where is the inverted course of the seeming existence of living beings? The fortieth awareness of completely enlightened nature creates a falsehood which has neither nature nor basic. If you wish to restore the real, this very wish pertains to the samsaric mind and not to related to the absolute nature. If the unreal mind is used to recover real nature, the later will be unreal, and of necessity there follow the illusory birth and existence as well as the unreal mind. The Dharma which will unfold endlessly and will gain in the intensity, thereby creating new karma and so responses from those shed some karma. This karmic responsiveness leads to the interdependence of birth and death, hence the inverted course of the seeming existence of living beings. You follow? A little bit confused.
I think I follow. Yeah, it seems it makes sense
Mm.
that we perceive we have a faulty perception of the enlightened nature of the Buddha nature, and that it creates this appearance of a reality that it has no basis. That's not actually reality. And then if we try to go seeking for the truth, for reality, then we're using this illusory like mind, this unreal mind is how it's described here, like a misunderstanding of our true nature, then we're just exercising that mistake, and that it will just lead to the same thing as seeking for anything else, is what it's suggesting. And unless we can, in our seeking, we get the right teachings, and then we learn to eventually exhaust that kind of unreal mind that's always seeking, and are able to directly perceive the true nature without um, you know trying to get somewhere.
Mm. Yeah. Uh, while you talking, I was thinking about the Zen story.
Mm-hmm.
A student somehow while he was sitting in meditation, so he has daydream. I don't know whether you know about that story or not. Have you heard about that? The daydream.
Sure. What was his daydream?
Yeah. So at first he had a daydream that um he let's see start with a cow. Someone give him a cow, and from that cow he could accept the milk. From the milk he could sell for money. From having some money they could do business. From doing business he could have some wealth of build a house and so forth. And from that he could get married, and from getting married he could have children, and from having children somehow he has the dispute of fighting with his wife, and someone sue him or almost kill him. At that time he wake up. And actually before that the master passed by and saw that he was daydream, so he hit him and he wake up.
Mhm.
So that
Yeah.
that's similar to this one, is that right? Mm.
Yeah, that it is similar. I agree. I mean, the mind can just create a whole chain of thoughts so quickly, and it can just it's like in meditation, the distractions are it's curious how they happen, because it's just like all of a sudden, I mean, I don't notice them in the moment they happen, but reflecting on them, it's
Mhm.
just like it just attention just slides, And the it's like like a cloud comes in front of the sun, where there's not really awareness of what I'm thinking about, even though I'm thinking about something. And then all of a sudden it's like the clouds aren't in front of the sun, and I notice, oh, I've been thinking. And that's so interesting that the it's because the conditioned patterns of the mind, where since I'm used to thinking about stuff, where all of us are all day long, that then when I go to just focus on one thing, eventually that pattern comes back in, and it just has its own sort of rhythm. But the dawning of awareness again is very interesting. How it just comes back without me like causing it to come back. It's just all of a sudden I realize what I'm thinking about.
Mhm. And actually, they make a movie, a Korean movie about that type uh, of scenes that relate to a Buddhist monk. Uh,
Hmm.
they produce that type of Korean movie. Uh, it's in similar way that somehow this monk, while he was doing meditation, so he he attached to a young lady that used to go to the temple to offer the food, and somehow in that dream, right, in that dream, so um, somehow uh, she she invite her to she invite him to run away with her. And somehow they live together for a while, and somehow later on they have some problem, and this one guy almost kill him. At that moment the master came and hit him, he wake up. It's similar.
That was the whole movie. Like the whole movie was his distraction.
Yeah.
It ends with him like, that's good. That's a good, yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it's to speak well with this power up, right? That's what we hear. We play around with our thought that we think they are real, because our thought produce the cell phone, our thought produce the table, the house, and so forth. But for us, it's real. But in Buddhist view, they are unreal because they are impermanence, not produced from our thoughts. And that's why the more we attach to the material, the more we get lost, because this ending. Like, the AI, right? This ending.
Mhm.
It's I mean that the no ending there, no ending of the thought. It just keep more and bigger and larger, and so forth. That's why somehow we get lost easily. Mm.
Yeah. That cycle, like on a small scale, the cycle of desire, it's clear to see how cyclical it is and how it starts back over at the same point. I was thinking about that today, where it's like, okay, there's a desire, and then acting on the desire, there's some payoff of some sort of like pleasurable feeling. And then, but the cost is that the the desire is still there. It's like it feeds it, like because the pleasurable feeling then just feeds further desire for that feeling again. And so then it's just a continual circle. And I think it's easy for to see that on a ground level of just like a daily thing, or even over weeks or years in someone's life. And it makes sense that the whole pattern of like birth and redeath, the birth, death, and rebirth is just it's like a bigger version of that small pattern.
Mm. So you know how social media now is so popular, especially like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, right? You know how they draw people attention, right?
Yeah.
How they trigger people mind, right? Because too short, right? When yeah, the shorter the better, right? Because our we don't have much patience nowadays. They just make about 30 seconds or 1 minute video clip, right? Of themselves, they call the selfie or whichever. So it just trigger from one scene to other. It's like feeding, right? Feeding. We have this type of scene, we have this type of information. It's like we eating different flavor. And this is keep moving until when we sit there for 30 minutes or 1 hour. And when we done, oh, we lost that 1 hour already.
Mm-hmm.
Playing around or jumping around those couple of short video clips and short TikTok video clips, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh,
Anyways,
yeah.
that's why right now we are pick by those type of social medias, and that's how they make money. And also yeah, that lead us further away from our pure nature, Buddha nature, because we are triggered by those kind of information. We feed it by those kind of information. Uh, and of course, the more we see them, the more we have inclination to follow them. Mm. It's
Mhm.
like it's called like the cow or the dog chasing his tail, right? Just chase
Yeah. Like a yak enamored of its own tail, blinding themselves with greed and infatuation, their vision so impaired they can see nothing.
Mm.
They do not seek the Buddha with his great might that can end their suffering. Yeah, so they have that in the Lotus Sutra. The inverted cause of existence of the world. Ananda, what is the inverted cause of the world, i.e., the realm of space and time? Because of the illusory existence of ignorance and its creation of the world and living beings, there arises the mortal lot clinging to space. Because of the causeless cause of subjective ignorance and its objective creation, and because of subjective living beings dwelling in their objective abode, all unfolding continuously and transitorily, time arises. Thus, the three aspects of time and the four cardinal points of space intermingle and combine to produce the 12 categories of beings.
Mm. You follow
So,
that?
yeah, so the cause of the existence of the world now is what this part is about. The other one was about, I think, of living beings. So, um, so because of ignorance, or that's the like, illusory existence is born out of ignorance. And that's from the previous chapter describing how there's a faulty awareness of the essential nature. Well, that illusory existence creates this the world and living beings. So because of the causeless cause, so that's like illusion, because illusion has no essential nature. Ignorance has no essential nature, so it's causeless. Is like it's just a mistake. Um, and so because of the causeless cause of subjective ignorance and its objective creation, I think of that as like the subjective ignorance being the ignorance of the true nature.
Mm.
And then the objective creation is the world. So it's like, okay, there's self, and then there's non-self, there's the world. And then you have the like living beings, the subjective, dwelling in, the objective of the house, the street, the neighborhood, the town. Um, and because then there's all these things are changing, then that gives rise to time. Like because we can see it going from day to night. And there are things we can watch, like now we use the oscillation of atoms like silicon atoms, when their electricity is run through them, they vibrate at a certain rate of time, or so then we can use that to say, you know, this many vibrations is a second, or this from when the sun rises once to when it rises again. Okay, we're going to say there's 24 hours in there and divide it up into 24. If nothing was changing, we couldn't have time. Like we wouldn't be able to infer time. We have to have changing phenomena to infer time. And there has to be some sort of consistency within those changes, like, the sun rising and setting, or like the constant rate of silicon's atom oscillation with electricity. And then if you combine the three aspects of time, past, present, and future, and the four cardinal points, they produce 12 categories of beings. And that, I don't know, that doesn't make, I don't understand that part, because, like, okay, so there's a north past, there's a south, east, west past. I don't know how that would relate to a certain being. And then there's like a present that's north, a present that's east, and then a future that's all of the four. Do you know what that refers to, Ty?
Again, it's just the general idea. The Buddha want us to know, right? The general idea that so each direction, right, has three times: past, present, and future. So three times four is 12. It's simple.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just he just explained that way. So now we learn more about the 12 types of transformation. Therefore, in the words, movement lead to the sound. It's simple, right? Movement lead to the sound. Sound to the form. Movement, right? We walk, we make the sound. The sound to the form. So when they talk, right, you hear the sound.
Mm-hmm.
Form, a vibration, a form of speech. Yeah, the vibration, right? The way the sound wave, right? It's the form.
Yeah, it has a form.
Okay. So
Definitely, we create, like, you say a word, and a word's kind of like a sort of a form.
but still the vibration uh hit your ear, what do you call, your ear lobe, right? And you
Drum, eardrum.
hear drum, so you hear that this is form of, is that the form? Without the form, it would not hit your eardrum.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so the sound to the form to smell. Yeah, the form, if we have the cake, right, we can smell. Or when we hear the voice, it's just we can smell. We can smell
Huh. I've never had that experience of hearing.
the
Like,
form.
I can listen, if I listen to like the sound of a cow, I don't smell a cow. I mean, if a cow is there, then I'll smell a cow. But if it's just the sound, but
Mm,
sound leads to form, and form leads to smell. The idea that form leads to smell makes sense
mhm.
to me, because, like, if you have a form, you're going to put off a smell. Pretty much anything that we can pick up, my mouse has a
Yeah.
smell. My skin. I just don't get how sound. I get how you were explaining sound leads to form, and the sense of the tympanic membrane,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah. So, but
maybe
from
maybe like the movement of molecules, like sound is basically a vibration or movement of molecules, and any living form relies upon the movement of molecules.
mm,
Not sure.
mm, okay. But from here, right, from form to smell, it's easy to understand, right? From
Mhm.
smell to touch, we smell, we can touch. We touch, we smell. Touch to taste, taste to touch. It's understandable, right? So this is a little bit uh difficult to wrap, but we can use some analogy. Okay, so these six illusions contribute to the formation of karma, which causes the division into 12. Six illusories, each for body and the mind. That's mean 12. Different types of change. Hence, the wheel turning in samsara, wherein these illusory sense data and in the 12 different transformational in the each rotation. So each false thought turn the wheel and contributes to these 12 type of birth. So, so body and mind, each of them has six, so it means 12. So based on the movement down to the thought. Um, uh, mm, mm. Yeah, it's pretty hard from it's understand movement due to the sound, but the sound to the form, and this one is it's hard to imagine, right? Um,
Yeah, how sound would create a form that could have a smell.
mhm,
Like how does sound, I'm thinking about like, okay, well, how does sound relate to, say, a flower? Um, Not sure.
mm,
Other than like, I don't know, maybe something to do with vibration.
yeah, I
Because
think.
all molecules have a frequency they vibrate at. So there's a relationship between like sound, vibration, and a form like a molecule.
Mm,
And form to smell, I mean, that makes sense on a molecular level too. Like we smell because we're breathing in molecules into our nose, and they're activating certain receptors in our olfactory nerve.
similar like the way they say Big Bang, right? Suddenly some movement, right? Big Bang, boom, right? The sound there,
Yeah.
Big Bang, right? Boom, and this all kind of sound, right? It create the sound, it create the form, it create the universe. It's just similar, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that does match up with sound to form part. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
form to smell, smell to touch.
Yeah. The movement come from our mind too, right?
Hmm.
Because up here it say that because we are attached is from positive mind, from false mind. So we have that thinking and somehow we make that movement, boom, it Big Bang, right? It create everything.
Hmm.
In Buddhism, we don't believe in Big Bang because probably there's many theory of Big Bang, not one.
Yeah. Some physicists think that too. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think there's like scientific support for that idea. It wouldn't make sense that there would just be one.
Mm. Not
Yeah.
one movement. There's a tremendous movement, right? All kind of movement down there, right? It create small Big Bang, small sound, right? Mm. Let's say in our daylight, let's say as I tell you, I am so hungry. You hear, you listen. Oh, I listen that. Oh, I'm hungry. So because of that sound, right? You may go to the kitchen, get for me to have some chocolate, candy, whichever. Is that the form? Because you hear and you get the form for me, from chocolate, candy, or donut, and you can smell and can touch, and can taste and have that thinking too. It makes sense now, right?
Yeah, yeah, that way makes some sense.
Mm,
I'm
mm,
trying to think about it sort of down to the roots of it too. So
mm,
those specific examples are helpful. That makes some sense. It's still, I feel like I'm still digesting it.
mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Or you can say to your wife, "Oh, I'm hungry." It's affect to her, right? Of course, you go to kitchen and cook something for you. And when she done with cooking, whether it's, the rice soup, whatever, and she give to you, right? You can
Hmm.
smell, touch, and so forth. You have the thought of them too. It's in the practical sense, right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So if you we can think that way, much easy. Hmm. Yeah,
yeah,
please.
that is.
Mm.
Okay, the 12 groups of living beings. Such inversion that turns the wheel of samsara creates 12 groups of species born of eggs, wombs, humidity, and by transformation. Having forms, being beyond form, thoughtful or thoughtless, having neither form nor no form, and being neither thoughtful nor thoughtless.
Mm.
So, saying that the six illusions and how they create karma for the body and for the mind are what propel our, um, you know, you could say consciousness through rebirths and samsara and the different categories of living beings. And it mentions the different types of birth in there, and then also um, so the other beings like heavenly beings, that there's the formless realm where they I'm not sure if they don't have a form or they have neither form nor no form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they also don't, like, their thinking is totally different. Like they're practically thoughtless, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah. So usually we understand, right? But by egg, by warm, humidity, and transformation, we understand this one, right?
Transformation is for like the deepest hells,
Mm-hmm.
or for the higher heavens,
Mm-hmm.
or there were some humans at the beginning of a kalpa that are born from, I think, the formless or form realm in by transformation. Buddha lands, birth into Buddha lands is by transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think sometimes, like, Tikya Fop was saying, changing from a caterpillar to a butterfly would be considered a birth by transformation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Having form, right? Beyond being beyond form. What's mean by being beyond form? Probably from down here, right? From here down. So they relate to the gods, the celestial beings in the form and formless realm, right?
I think so, yeah. The idea of beyond form,
Mm-hmm.
if someone is so, their consciousness is so expansive, they're not identifying with a form in the way that, say, I identify with the physical form, that they're beyond form.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there's all kind of beings there. Anyway, so this been interesting. Okay. Okay. So can we stop here today?
Mm-hmm. Yes, time.
Thank you. All right.